so fun. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Chill Out podcast. This year for me, I've dealt with a lot of good things, but at the same time, also a few negative things. And I find myself disassociating at times in order to deal with like tough experiences. I wanted to talk about anxiety and disassociating because it's one of the biggest things that I struggle with on a daily basis. Anxiety has been the most challenging overall. And even though it's gotten much better to manage than before, it still does come with a lot of difficulty to navigate. So I wanted to kind of talk about my experience, how I deal with it. And yeah, that's what's on the agenda today. So I'm super keen to be hanging out with you. I feel like my anxiety started from junior school. If you're listening from the US, that would be middle school, I think.
Okay.
I feel like I've always struggled with anxiety throughout my life. I just obviously didn't have like a name to attach to what I was feeling. So you kind of sort of just go about life dealing with certain mental health struggles, thinking that, hey, it's going to just go away. So like deal with it now and move forward. My depression started in high school just from like various personal issues and obviously not feeling worthy. But, you know, just being anxious has always been with me for as long as I can remember. I've just dealt with it and accepted it. I've never liked to like talk about what I was going through because in the past I've been betrayed by people after I've been vulnerable enough to open up to them. So from a very young age, I just kind of became very closed off and decided to deal with my stuff on my own, which in my opinion is not a good idea because sometimes it can take you to a very dark and lonely place. I probably have, slight tendencies of someone who has a bit of OCD. I like things in place. I also have mad anxiety about things going wrong. So, for example, by like tapping a door 3 times, I feel like if I don't do this, something is going to go wrong. Like my anxiety is the worst at times. It controls my life a lot. However, I've definitely gotten a bit better with dealing with it. And I think growing up, I never felt like I had stability. And I definitely crave that a lot in life. That's why I'm so focused on being independent and like self-reliant, because if I am able to give that to myself, I feel so much more in control and at ease. But, back then in high school, I acknowledged that I had anxiety, but it definitely became more prominent in my adult life. And I feel like in school, I wasn't that aware of having anxiety because I was so distracted. Because in those school years, like think about it, you're going through so much growth. Like it sort of distracts you from like that inner turmoil that you may be experiencing. Like you don't have the mental capacity to actually even think about being anxious. I was so focused on, my daily life where it didn't give me the space to have anxiety about things more existential. Like I hated school, okay? I feel like when you have really low self-worth growing up, adding anxiety onto that and then not being the best at school compared to everyone else, it only adds onto how much you suck. And it makes things so much worse. Like school for me isn't a healthy place that encourages everyone to like embrace being an individual. For me, it just makes you feel terrible about yourself. And I'm just being honest. Dealing with anxiety like isn't fun. It's gut-wrenching at times. I always fear disappointing people or doing something wrong or feeling like the problem 90% of the time. And it's not a healthy space to be mentally to feel that way all the time. And then obviously, being more open on the internet and sharing a lot about your own experiences, that opens you up to a whole bunch of other anxiety because now you're opening yourself up. You feel more exposed because now you're sharing things about your life and your experiences to other people. And people judge, people are cringing at you, and like it's not a nice feeling to think about that as well. But there's pros and cons to everything in life, so I guess it is what it is. But anyways, I think that's why I prefer being alone a lot, and I'm really comfortable being alone because it makes things less anxious for me. Like I'm in control, I can do what I want to do. When I think of dealing with anxiety through the years and the things that I did to deal with it, Like, for example, I remember in 2018 where I literally went out to parties and festivals for like that entire year. Like, there wasn't a fun event that I didn't go to with my boyfriend at the time. And I was just like in an era where I wanted to be around people. I wanted to go out, I wanted to have fun and not care about like any of my worries, not care about people's perceptions of me, not care about any problems that I had. I literally just wanted to go out. I wanted to dance. I wanted to get lost in the music and like live for that day, not feel an ounce of anxiety. And I feel like going out is like a form of escapism. Well, for me, it is. And it was such a really fun experience for me to literally not care so much. And I honestly felt so free. I never had a moment to like be alone with my anxious thoughts. I really went through a phase where I was just partying a lot. But, you know, the thing about that is that
basically, like, live your life.
You know, it may feel good in the moment and it may feel fun and freeing and amazing, and it is. But the next day, you experience another level of anxiety, and I kind of learned that very fast. Now that you've heard like my anxiety history, I want to fast forward to this year, okay, this past year. So at times I've literally experienced having a panic attack in the car while driving home from town, like on the highway, and I literally had to calm myself down. And it's one of the most terrifying feelings. But obviously I've managed to get better at feeling less anxious when driving, but like in general, like I literally have to talk myself out of not having a full-on panic attack and not having anxiety when I'm driving, and it sucks. But hey, I have to drive myself in general, so I have to kind of like force myself to get over that fear and like get out of that anxious feeling, because I actually do enjoy driving, okay? I'm just in my head about it. And in the last 3 years, my anxiety has not been that great. Like, I remember being asked to go out and like a million things would pop into my head of what could go wrong. And like, it puts me in such a weird, uncomfortable headspace. I'm not sure if you can relate, but I feel like I really don't even want to do anything in that moment. Like, I just want to go home. And I was with this guy at the time, and he was not understanding about it at all. And I know I'm being irrational, but instead of judging someone for something that they're like feeling, okay, why not try and understand it instead of like putting them down for it? Like, help them feel better instead of worse. Like, the thought of going to a club or hanging out in town or going out at night would just give me mad anxiety. And I literally could care less if I was coming across as this uncool, non-laid back party girl. I was really struggling during that time, and I hated myself for it because it stopped me from doing so many fun things. But now I feel like I'm in a really good place where I feel like, you know, when that happens, I'm able to trust myself more and kind of like be like, Kelly, you're being a bit dramatic. You need to go out there and experience life and have fun and enjoy yourself. So I'm in a really good place at the moment when it comes to going out and stuff. So yay. I would say that I've also experienced a lot of dissociating, and what dissociating means is it's feeling disconnected from yourself and the world around you. For example, if you experience like trauma or like a hard experience in your life, you tend to like disassociate from it. Like, you just can't deal with the emotions right now, and you sort of just emotionally and mentally block it out because you don't have the capacity to deal with it right now. So it's something different for everyone. Like, it could also be the experience of like not being in control and feeling like detached from your body. And in general, disassociating can make it hard for you to be social. You know, anxiety isn't real. Like, irrational anxiety, which is a majority of what I feel personally, it's not real. Like, I'm not going to always feel this way. It's literally just a moment in time where I'm really struggling. But it's obviously so hard to remember that in the moment. And I feel like in life, if your brain isn't good and you have an anxious mind, you have to try and figure out healthy ways to deal with these types of feelings. Otherwise, it's going to control your life. Like, you're forced to figure out what's going to help you through those times. So I want to share 3 things that I've done that help me navigate having anxiety. So the first thing is I reflect on what I need. So when I'm feeling anxious, I need to talk to someone. I need to call my dad, or I need to text my best friend. I need to call someone. Sometimes that's the last thing that I want to do. Like sometimes I just want to be at home and not talk to anyone. And you need to kind of ask yourself, what do you need right now? A lot of people have advice on what you should do, but the only person who really knows what you need in that moment is you. The next thing is change your environment. Like a lot of people say that when you're in an anxious moment, feel it, allow it, embrace it. I say no to that. And hey, if that works for you, that's great. But for me, I need to face what I'm feeling in that moment, and I need to switch gears and try and do something that's going to help me to feel good, to feel at ease. And that could be getting in my car and driving to the beach, or saying that, hey, I need to get out of the house today. Let me go to the gym and then go grab a coffee somewhere afterwards, just to get out of my current environment. I don't want something to overpower me and make me feel anxious. I want to navigate how I'm feeling with compassion, with kindness, but I'm not going to let it control me.
This is just so deep.
The last thing is slow down. So definitely check out my video, which I did all about how to slow down this summer and like focus on yourself and like do more fun things that allow you to fully embrace the moment. And, don't force yourself to do anything challenging if you are feeling uneasy and anxious. Take some time for yourself. Do an activity that makes you feel happy, that allows you to like disconnect from your current thoughts, that helps you to change your perspective and feel more relaxed. Like I know for me that painting has helped me to really unwind and find peace, because my mind isn't like spiraling. It's forced to focus on what I'm currently doing. And painting or like being creative lately has been such a fun thing. Like it's helped me so much. And I've learned that being more creative a lot lately in my life is such a freeing experience, when like you can express yourself in an honest way through art. A lot of the time we get stuck in our minds, and we let that kind of like take over. And I feel like if you struggle with anxiety or disassociation, I get it and I feel for you, because it does suck. There is no easy fix to it, but I think that just getting to a place where you can remind yourself that this is going to pass, where you're able to calm yourself down and feel at ease, and also where you are able to like accept and acknowledge that you are freaking out right now, but you are going to get through it and you will feel much better. I think these things are going to be very helpful in your life. So definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. So thank you guys so much for listening. If you are watching on YouTube, I love you and I love hanging out with you. So definitely like, comment, share, and subscribe. New podcast episodes every Wednesday. Check it out on Apple, Spotify, wherever else you get your podcasts. I also have a book. It's called Bright Days Ahead. So check that out on Amazon. I have inserted the link in the description. So check that out. And I love you. Okay. I love hanging out with you. And I will see you guys soon. Okay. So peace.